Hello you guys, welcome to the Ranting Shop. It's me Melissa and I just wanted to pop in really quickly to talk about the recent events that took place with Danileigh and Dababy. So as we all know, I'm not really gonna do much of a recap. What I'm gonna be doing today is speak on attractiveness hierarchy as it relates to her and Dababy. So being high on a man's attractiveness hierarchy or attractiveness scale does not mean that he'll treat you better. A lot of women like to think that because they are considered more desirable by men, that means they're treated better. And we heard that from the woman that was with Cynthia Santana, when she was dating Joe Budden. She stated on Danieleigh's podcast that black men put them on a pedestal and black men treat them really well. And because they benefit from that sort of idolization, so to speak, from the men, they go towards those types of men. And we see that in that case, it didn't work for Santana. As you could see, they broke up soon after, and she was left to become a single mom. And we have the situation now with Danileigh, where you guys don't get it confused, don't get it twisted. This woman did not just feel confident out of the blue. This man has been gassing her up, flooding her with compliments, stating that he loves her, saying bad things about his baby's mother, doing all these things, almost putting a battery in Danny's back so that she will feel confident enough to now go and maybe address Mimi, the first baby's mother, or address any other woman he's been with, just to state that, oh, I'm better than you because look, I'm with him. So in that case, they kind of treat the man like he's the prize. And that's the thing with women. They never come together and decide it's the man that's the problem. They never seem to come to that conclusion. It is always me against you. I have him now, so let me flaunt him on social media and show you how much he wants me. So as to make the other woman jealous. Now we see that backfired on her in the most embarrassing way. So if we don't know, let's go through this timeline very quickly. He got her pregnant and attempted to kick her out with the newborn. The manosphere is trying to play semantics and say that he didn't kick the baby out, only Danny. So why would she go and leave her new baby that is very dependent on her in a house with an abusive man? Who would care for it? Right? And I just feel like that whole point does not make any sense. And at that point, these men are grasping at straws. He called her a derogatory name. He called her a certified side piece when she refused to leave his house. But based on the pictures that she posted of them, kissing and being intimate and him professing his love for her, I don't know where in the world a man treats a side piece like this. To me, that was his attempt to belittle her because he had already begun the process of discarding her. So at this point, he didn't care what he said. He wanted to hurt her because as far as he's concerned, he wants nothing to do with her anymore and he wants her to leave. She refused to leave because she doesn't want him to bring women into his home to sleep with. I think that was the reason why she did not want to leave. I think the first reason is because you want to bring other women here to sleep with. I think after a while, it became about, okay, he wants me to leave at 3 a.m. in the morning. I have nothing ready. I have a sleeping baby. Where are we gonna go? What are we gonna do? I think that was her second reaction. But her initial reaction was, oh, he's gonna bring other women to sleep with. And I believe that is one of the reasons why she stayed. You know. So a lot of women, particularly online, were very upset with Danileigh because they were saying, why isn't she leaving? This man told you leave multiple times. This man called the police on you. Why are you still there? Pick up your bag, take whatever you need to take, and just go. But I feel like a lot of women are very insensitive towards other women, and black women are particularly insensitive towards Danileigh because Dababy hyped her up to feel as if she was superior to black women. Hence why she created the song Yellow Bone is what he wanted. He was also there in the studio dancing to the song. So he has a very big role to play in how arrogant she appeared to the public. And I feel like a lot of people are ignoring that fact. And I was saying to somebody, yes, I mean, it seems simple to just pick up and leave, but taking into consideration the fact that she has a new baby, you know, and the fact that she feels vulnerable, the baby is of course vulnerable in this situation, it makes it a situation that is not so cut and paste. Financially, does she have the money? Because I noticed that a lot of people tend to believe that because somebody has one hit or because somebody is popular on social media, it equates to them having money. It's like we didn't learn. TLC was one of the biggest female groups in the world. They had hits on hits on hits, and many accounts that they've given has proven that they didn't have money. They didn't make money from these songs. They suffered financially even when they were at the height of their popularity. Why do people just feel as if because celebrities are celebrities that they continuously have money? That is not true. And Danileigh is an up-and-coming artist. She's not this person with all this wealth. You know, and I think people tend to exaggerate the amount of money these celebrities have. And another thing about it is, besides the finances, perhaps she did not want to pick up and go to a temporary hotel because she's thinking, okay, what am I gonna do after that? Like, she's probably thinking like, I'm stuck, because she said before she sold her house, she sold everything that gave her independence and moved in with this guy thinking, oh, I'm gonna create this family for my daughter. Now I have a problem with her saying that she did this for her child, because we all know that that's not true. She didn't move in to his home because of that child. She moved into his home because she wanted to be closer to him. And the devaluation has not just been something that miraculously started happening. This man has been devaluing this woman even before she got pregnant. They broke up before she was pregnant. There was a situation where he had a baby on his first baby's mom, and then I think Danileigh came in around that time. So she knew the rumblings. She knew the type of man that she was dealing with. And I just hate that some women like to use babies as scapegoats. Like, I'm doing this for my baby, knowing full well you're doing it for yourself. And as much as I understand, okay, you want the baby to be close to their dad, you want the baby to, you know, have some time with their father, I completely understand that. But don't act as if you moved into his home and sold all your stuff for the baby. You did it for yourself. And let's just call a spade a spade. Okay? Alright? And then another thing that bothered me is he called the police on her, right, that night, that morning, 3 a.m., around 3 a.m. in the morning. Maybe soon after that video that he posted online, which we will get on to later as to why he even decided to go on live to document this. We're gonna talk about this later. But I have a problem with her, because why, after he called the police on you and basically is kicking you out, are you allowing him to ejaculate inside of you? That is my biggest problem. That is what I don't understand. That man had already called the police on you, attempted to remove you from his house, and then that I guess later that night or whatever, later that morning, you still proceeded to have him ejaculate in you. Why? Why would you do that? And I feel like it's because she has very low self-worth, very low self-esteem, and it's almost like she wants it to work, knowing fully well that it's not going to work. So she feels desperate. So if she feels like, okay, let me make him ejaculate in me, maybe I'll have another baby, maybe whatever the case may be, and he'll soften up to me. Maybe he'll change his mind. Maybe he will be better to me. I think that is what her thought process was. To the outside person, it's absolutely ridiculous to make a man ejaculate in you after he had already called police in you, and then for you to boast about it and say, oh, you just came in me last night. Oh, you just came in me last night. I would never vocalize that. That is embarrassing. I don't think she felt like it was an embarrassing thing to say, but it actually made her look more ridiculous, because even after all this abuse, you're still allowing him to sleep with you unprotected. Why? Somebody said that she's only a warm hole. That's literally what he's reduced her to. He's reduced her to a warm hole that he knows he can have whenever he wants. And he took advantage of it. He took advantage of it. And somebody said men are very fickle. They might sleep with you, but him sleeping with you does not equate to him changing his mind about you leaving. It doesn't change his mind about him not wanting you. As far as he's concerned, he's using you because you're in close proximity and he wants sex. So if you're willing to open your legs and sleep with him, he's gonna take it. But that does not mean anything, because a lot of women like to feel like, oh, they like to attach meaning to certain things. Oh, he slept with me, it means something. Oh, he bought me a gift, it means something. Oh, he ejaculated in me raw, it means something. Oh, he made me a mother, it means something. Sometimes it means nothing. Sometimes it means nothing. And I think that's a problem with a lot of women. It's like we like to attach meaning to certain things, even when the person didn't bluntly say these things. And so when we attach meaning to certain things that somebody does, we create this reality. We create this virtual reality that is not real. It's not true. And most of the time when we're hit with the facts, it hits us with a ton of bricks, because it's like, but why did you do this? Oh, well, I thought it meant this. Meanwhile, the person never vocalized the meaning of what he was doing. He probably never even shared his true intentions, and purposely didn't tell you, oh, this is this and that is that, because he wanted to create a gray area where you'd be confused or you would draw your own conclusions. The danger is when you draw your own conclusion now, you are left to look stupid, because he can always say, well, I wasn't the one who came up with that. You came up with that. I never told you that. You came up with that on your own. And that is exactly what we saw him doing. Okay, now him recording this for us all to see, as a former narcissist said, It was not to protect himself. And I see a lot of men in the manosphere saying, oh, kudos for recording it, kudos for doing this and for doing that. But he didn't do that to protect himself. He did it to incriminate her. Because what he would do is taunt her, make her mad, make her angry, knowing that women tend to be and react in an emotional way. So let me taunt her, let me capture her reaction so that people could see it and say she is aggressive. They can say now she is physically violent. Whole time he's the one probing her and gaslighting her and provoking her to act that way. That's something that these people in the manosphere will never tell you is what's happening. These men in this manosphere thing, they're so scary because it's almost as if they do not hold the man fully accountable. And if they do, they make him accountable for a very small part in the situation and make the woman the one who is to blame mostly for what happens. And that's not accurate. That's not true. That's not fair. That's not a fair analysis. That's why I don't like listening to some of them, because it's just very clearly and blatantly biased. And for me, a biased assessment is not a true assessment. And so then it now invalidates your words. And then it becomes ridiculous and useless to even listen to you. Okay? Now, I said that, yes, I also spoke about that in the beginning. She allowed him to manipulate her and gas her up into thinking that she was superior. You know, he did that. It was him. And a lot of people, I keep saying, they're ignoring that. He gassed her up, you know. And she has been ostracized by her family members, which puts her in a more vulnerable position because now she can't just go to her family for support. Her family is not anywhere close to where she is. So she's literally on her own. Alright. So I said when she was no longer allowing him to do what he wanted freely, he discarded her. So she's no longer tolerating the cheating. She's no longer tolerating the disrespect. She's no longer tolerating being used as a ejaculation bucket. And he has a problem with that. He's like, no, just stay and accept what I give you. Which is what a lot of what Kevin Samuel preaches. He says high value men should be allowed certain things like having multiple women. And that has these men's head gassed up. Oh, I'm rich, I'm famous. I can have as many women as I want. So how dare you try to impede on my freedom, knowing fully well that I'm a superstar and that's something you should expect of me. But did you communicate that to her? Did you communicate that explicitly to her, that you would be the type of man that is not going to be tied down to one woman? If you did, then she has to take accountability for still continuing to deal with you knowing that. If she wasn't aware, then it's your fault because you should have been honest with her and made her aware so that she could make her own decision. But I feel like even though he did not verbally say that to her, she saw his actions and she still decided that this is a man I want to have a child with. And that is where women should be taking accountability. Take accountability for the men you choose to become fathers to your children. You knew the type of man he was. I do not believe for 1 second that you, Danileigh or Danielle, thought that this man would be committed to only you, that this man would eventually marry you. This man, Dababy, I highly doubt it. Okay? So the manosphere is putting most of the blame on Danielle because she refused to leave the premises. But legally, if the police could have taken her out, they would. But it's illegal to decide to throw somebody out that's been living in your house for 3 months at 3 a.m. in the morning. It's illegal. If it was illegal, the police would have no problem taking her out of the premises. But it was legal. It was legal for her to be there. He could not just throw her out. Okay? So, physical violence, I said, is never the answer. But men tend to ignore the non-violent abuses, such as gaslighting. This term is often used to describe the abuser making the abused feel like her reality is a lie by acting like he or she is overreacting or inaccurate about their account of events. This tactic is worse than physical abuse because it makes the person question their sanity. He did that by calling her a certified side piece and telling her they were never together. It is very important for men to be brutally honest about their intentions. There should be no room for misinterpretation. If a woman learned the brutal, honest truth and continued to proceed with the relationship, then everything that happens negatively in that relationship, she has to also take responsibility for it. But if it was him not being honest with her, then he has to take responsibility for not being honest. He has been devaluing her even before the baby was born. He was not at the baby's baby shower. He broke up with her according to her account of things when she was pregnant, and then she got back with him for whatever reason. Okay? So that's basically all that I really have to say about this. Ladies, take accountability for what you allow from these men. Men, be brutally honest about your intentions towards these women so that if they do proceed knowing what the relationship is, then you can always see that they continue despite. But what I don't appreciate is for men not holding men accountable. That's my problem. They always ask for women to be accountable. Go on any of these manosphere pages, mediocre tutorials, Kevin Samuels, all these other platforms. They refuse to hold men equally as accountable as women. It's always women are more accountable and men are only this much accountable. That's not fair and that's not accurate. I'm equally as annoyed with the pages that's supposed to be the feminine pages, the pages for women to level up. I'm equally as annoyed with their side of things because their side of things also tend to be unbalanced and highly biased. I don't stand for anything that's biased. I love a very fair and accurate account of what either gender does. Because what this thing does, this manosphere thing and this feminine page thing, what they will do is deepen the divide with their rhetoric. They will only keep deepening the divide. And we don't need to deepen the divide. We need everyone to come together with a level of understanding as to what each other is not doing and what each other should hold themselves accountable for. I don't appreciate neither of the sides being biased. I just can't take it seriously. But anyways, you guys, that is all I have to say about the Danileigh and Dababy situation. Let me know what you think about this. And shall I repeat? Being a man's preferred preference, or being at high on a man's attractiveness scale, does not mean that he's not gonna treat you just as badly as he's treated other women. We need to get that into our skulls. We need to tattoo that onto our brains. Or else a lot more women are gonna end up in Danileigh's situation or worse. Anyways, you guys, see you next time for another review on The Ranting Shop with me, Melissa. Bye-bye.